And evidently,
We would have
I
never
told her that's
guessed.
what they care about.
Yeah,
You know, we do something to their time, and then your public policy comes in here.
We don't count for that.
But I double booked myself, and I really don't want to back out.
And then pull them out at the end of the year. How do we do that? We do that for every other city.
And we only really that was the issue.
Yeah, but it's and it's restricted people from going to the beach. Okay, unless the city knows that.
The city is the one who asked us to take them out.
Anybody who wants to
Well, that way at least it doesn't get destroyed, that's what he has in mind, that's the
Let the
thing.
record reflect that Rich Day has been here 8 minutes prior to the meeting.
So noted. So noted.
For 110. I was watching. But don't overdo it.
I ran right in the bathroom.
I gave you time from that down.
Right into the bathroom.
The Hulk was watching.
I just want you to know, I even gave you credit for coming from down there.
Oh, okay.
And 8 minutes was a lot.
Oh, yeah.
You'll hear it then.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Identity crisis, what you do with the smart
Ordinance number 2.
He wants to come to county.
You were talking, but you look fine.
I thought that was your way.
Free breakfast, you can come to county. You look good, I'm just saying. I'll take it off.
Roger, that's your friend's telling you. That's your friend was here.
It's not,
It's got a ice in it, soda, I won't drink it.
First readings.
Not yet.
And then the 26th, and then 28th after.
in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of this meeting of the Atlantic County Board of Chosen Freeholders was provided in the following manner. Published in the Press of Atlantic City and mailed to the Current, the Daily Journal, the Hamilton Gazette, the Hamilton News, and has been posted on the bulletin boards in the county office building in Atlantic City, the Stillwater building in Northfield, and the county clerk's office in Mays Landing. Can we please all rise for an opening prayer and the pledge of allegiance?
Almighty God, we ask thee to grant us the wisdom to walk in thy light and the courage to accept the responsibilities placed upon us. Amen.
Amen. Attention, salute. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please have a roll call.
Bennett,
Here.
Bertino,
Here.
Corsi,
Present.
Days,
Here.
Fitzpatrick,
Here.
Vermica,
Here.
Kern,
Here.
Risley,
Here.
and Gatto.
Here. You've all had an opportunity to review the minutes from February 5th, 2019. If there's no corrections, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the minutes as presented.
Who? Second?
Motion and a second. Any comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, next we have a presentation. Madam Clerk, do you want to read that?
Sure. Recognizing March as American Red Cross Month in Atlantic County.
Okay, come on up. Did you want to say anything about our local chapter?
Well, I will give you a brief update. I know you're very busy, you have a packed agenda, but very quickly on what we've been doing. We are continuing our most aggressive initiative in the last 5 years, which is our Home Fire campaign. And we have installed upwards of 2,000 pre-smoke alarms across Atlantic County and across South Jersey. We have canvassed and installed virtually all wards in Atlantic City, several neighborhoods in Pleasantville, Egg Harbor City, and we're continuing until we finish that. We would urge the council members, if you have high-risk neighborhoods in mind that you think could benefit from this program, just give us a call. In addition to installing the free smoke alarms, we are taking the time to educate families on the importance of building an evacuation route, talking to their children about fire safety and how to get out of the house quickly, and fire prevention tips. Our blood crisis continues to be a crisis, so we would urge you to lead by example, and if you are able to donate blood, please do that. You can do it every 56 days, and we are right up the street. And our disaster relief continues. Last year, we assisted over 500 residents of Atlantic County in fire relief and financial assistance. And we continue our service to armed forces, so we've been very busy.
Yes.
And it's our pleasure to do it, and thank you so much for giving me a few minutes today.
Freeholder Kern, I know you had put this on the agenda. Did you want to
No,
add anything?
I mean, it's amazing everything that you do. I mean, everyone just thinks blood donation. They don't realize all these things that you do, you know, and we thank you very much for being there in Land County.
You want to come down and join me with this presentation? So while Freeholder Kern's making her way down, we have a proclamation here to present to you, and it's rather lengthy, so I won't read it all. But what I will read is, whereas March is American Red Cross Month, a special time to recognize and thank the American Red Cross volunteers and donors who give their time and resources to help members of the community and depends on those local heroes to deliver help and hope during a disaster. And whereas we dedicate the month of March to all those who support the American Red Cross mission to prevent and alleviate human suffering in the face of emergencies by donating time, money, and blood to fulfill its humanitarian mission. Now therefore be it proclaimed on this 12th day of March by the Board of Freeholders that we designate March as American Red Cross Month and encourage all Americans to support this organization and its noble humanitarian mission. So thank you so much. And thank you so much for all you do. We appreciate you coming.
Thank you so much.
And thanks for coming to spread that message. All right, any other comments from freeholders on Red Cross Month? Okay. All right, moving on. We have 3 interviews today. So our first one, Madam Clerk.
Appointment of Judy M. Ward to the Atlantic County Utilities Authority.
Okay, so, Councilwoman, step on up.
Council
Council
President.
President. It's nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
So,
Hello, everyone.
We are looking to appoint you to the ACUA. Do you want to tell us, we know your background and your amazing record. Do you want to just kind of let the public know who you are and what you've done for our community?
Okay. Well, I'm Judy Ward. I'm the president of the City Council in the City of Pleasantville, and I've been on council since 2005. I'm on several boards. When I was asked to be on the ACUA board, I am very interested and felt honored because we do a lot of work, of course, ACUA, services Pleasantville, along with the other communities. And I just think it would be a good board for me to be on as far as being able to educate my community and the things that's going on. I remember in 2005 or 6 when the windmills first came and Rick W. invited us over for a tour of the plant. At that time there was no others in the country, well in New Jersey, I think that was the first coastal one in the country, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But anyway, just that and other things that's going on in the community, I just feel honored to be able to serve on that board.
Well, I certainly think your experience will be a great voice on that board, and certainly the community that you represent as well. Turn it over to the freeholder board. Any questions you want to?
Madam Chair, if I may.
Yes. Freeholder board.
First of all, I think it is indeed good and rewarding to Atlantic County and certainly to the city of Pleasantville to have one of their own as a council president to serve on this board for obvious reasons, because as she's indicated, she's able to bring additional information back to the district in which she represents, but her work itself speaks for itself. speaks for itself. She's been involved throughout this community in various organizations, is not afraid to roll up her sleeves, get her hands dirty, always in and out of the school systems with the kids, doing stuff with the senior citizen. And so this is just another thing on her plate. Most folks would run away, but she has continued to give tirelessly to the community as a whole. And so when we look at it, she is going on a board I believe will serve good for all of us. And I'm a little biased, so I'm gonna be clear about that before we go any farther. She happens to be in the district she allows me to represent as a freeholder.
Well.
Thank you. I am proud to be her freeholder, and that we've always had a good working relationship, and that when things are going haywire, sometimes I gotta tell you, I gotta call Council President Judy Ward to kind of bring me down a little bit, to pump the brakes, believe it or not. But we talk on a regular, and she was excited to get this invitation to serve, and so we're looking forward to your work on that board, and we congratulate you. We can sit here all day and talk about your resume.
Yes,
We will not do that, because it speaks for itself. Congratulations, and thank you so much for wanting to serve.
Thank you. And I also wanted to say, I don't know what I don't know, so what I'm looking forward to being on the board. I think my experience with public service, the committee I've served on, and sewer, or wastewater management, we call it now, would be helpful along with that. So, that's it.
Any other
Thank you.
freeholder comments, questions for Ms. Ward? No. Oh,
Just
Freeholder
one quick
Martina.
comment. I had the opportunity to serve with a council president on the leading municipality, so I've seen firsthand her dedication and her ability to get into a particular issue and get it resolved. And that's something you need in government today, and I know she'll do a fantastic job at the ACUA. I know you'll fit right in, and it's a heck of an operation that we're unfortunate to serve on the solid waste advisory, so I have a lot of contact with them over there, and some of the new changes and stuff that are going on in recycling that you'll be able to bring back to your constituents, and we'll all be better served for your service. So thank you for doing this.
Thank you for your
Okay, well, with that, I think we should read Resolution 145.
Appointment of Judy M. Ward to the Atlantic County Utilities Authority for a term to expire on May 1, 2024.
Move.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other freeholder comments on that motion? Hearing none, we have a roll call vote, please.
Bennett.
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Horsey.
3 yeses.
Days.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Formica.
4 yeses.
Kern.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Gatto.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thanks for being here, Council President.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have another interview.
Appointment of Jerome H. Irick to the New Jersey Pinelands Commission.
Okay, Mr. Irick, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you, Freeholder Board.
So I read there was a recent article about you on the paper this week with regard to this appointment. So do you want to give
Sure.
the board and the public some background?
Sure. I graduated from Clemson University in 1966, Bachelor of Science Civil Engineering.
What year was that?
1966.
Okay.
Before you were born.
I want to hear that again.
And professional engineer since 1980, and a New Jersey licensed professional planner since 1992. And I own and operate a small consulting business in Vineland, New Jersey, Irick Engineering. We've submitted site plans, we've submitted septic designs, we've submitted to the Pinelands. In addition, I own 75 acres of managed land in Buena Borough, farmland. Present, I am president of Atlantic County Board of Agriculture. I'm a delegate to Farm Bureau. I'm a delegate to the Vegetable Growers Association. I am a Minnetonka Fire Commissioner, and I look forward to representing Atlantic County as the farmer representative on the Pinelands Commission. I don't own any land in the Pinelands, so in speaking with Mr. Galetta, he seemed to think that that's a positive And also in 2017, the New Jersey Society of Agriculture recognized our farm as a century farm, meaning that it's been in our family for over 100 years.
Another busy guy, taking on more.
Yes.
Thank you.
So, any freeholder questions? Yes, sir, Mr. Bertino.
Thank you, Chairwoman, I'm sorry. I think I've had the opportunity to work with Jerry in my time here on the Freeholder Board as liaison to the Board of Agriculture. And Jerry's always brought a unique perspective to the Ag Board, not only from his background, of course, in agriculture, but also his background in understanding the environment. Jerry has a unique ability, and that's why I thought when I heard he's interested in filling out Paul's term, if given the opportunity, of course, he'd do a fantastic job. He recognizes how unique the Pinelands Preservation Area is to not only us in the region, but also to the state of New Jersey. And I think his background and his knowledge, understanding the practices, even with agriculture, mixing with, and you need to be very careful and have a careful balance if you're going to be a farmer today with the land you have, because it's a precious commodity. I think he's going to do a great job for us on the board, and I was very happy to see he was interested in taking over from Mr. Galetta, who's done a fantastic job as well for us the last, I believe, 12 years. So I think you'll do a great job. I'm glad you're stepping up. Again, as you seem to do all the time, Jerry, when there's service to be done, you're always there to do it. So I thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other freeholder comments? Yes, Freeholder Risley.
I can think of no one better.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
I wish you well. You wearing the jersey first button?
Yes, sir.
You my man there,
Okay, with that, we'll take a motion to entertain, I'm sorry, if we could read resolution number 146.
Appointment of Jerome H. Irick to the New Jersey Highlands Commission for an interim term starting March 10th, 2019 to June 27th, 2019, and for a 3-year term from June 28th, 2019 to June 27th, 2022.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second.
Is there opportunity for public comment?
Yeah, I'm getting a motion and a second. Any freeholder comments? Okay, now comments from the public.
Great. I'm curious to see, and I think Ryan would probably
I'm
like to
sorry,
talk on
sir,
this
can you
too.
state your name for the record?
Jason Howell, 6 Holly Creek Road, Port Republic, New Jersey.
Sure.
I'm sure Mr. Irick is a fine nomination. I would like to know what the process is for applying for the position of Pinelands Commissioner. It was just this morning that I found out this position was even open.
Okay, let me see, Jerry, can you?
Well, there are people that go online and you can apply right online. There's all kinds of boards that we have listed there, so you can just apply online. Mr. Irick has done that, and he's also been, as you heard, on the Ag Board, and I think he's president chairman of the board, so.
Madam Chair, if I may?
Yes.
Jerry, I think you need to be more clear when you say go online, so people know what you're talking. It's Atlantic County.
Okay, Atlantic County, we have a website, www.aclink.org. If you go there, it outlines all the advisory boards that we have, and you can apply. It asks you for your name, your address, and then the kinds of boards that you'd like to sit on, so you can actually delineate the board that you want to sit on.
I do understand that opportunity, but
Yeah.
because we just found out that Mr.
Right.
Galetta was retiring, there was really no opportunity for the public to make their desire known to serve on this board.
Freeholder.
I think what you
Formica, hold on, Freeholder.
Yeah.
Formica.
If I could, so you understand the process. The appointments are done by the executive and the administration. This board sits to advise and consent. So it's very simple. If you wanted to get a job, what would you do with a certain company?
If there is a listed position open, I would submit an application.
Okay, but I'm just saying, you would at least find out about the company, right? If you wanted to work somewhere, you'd find out about the company.
Certainly.
And you could ask, are there any positions opening? The website will show you at aclink.org when certain things are happening. But boards, by and large, are, they're open to the public to make applications to. So if you have an interest in serving in a position, you can always write a letter to the executive.
Was there an opportunity in this case for the public to be aware that this position was even opened?
That's what I was going to say. We don't proactively announce when there's going to be a vacancy on a board or a commission. It's just listed on the website. So someone has to take that initiative to know that the board exists, know where it is on the website, look there and see. Because I've been on there and I see that like the Advisory Commission on Women has several openings and some of them have several openings.
Right.
So, no, we don't do that. Maybe we should.
Just so you know,
do
we
that.
get applications the point is, we get applications every single day.
That's my
Yeah,
point.
right.
You make an application to the board, and then, you know, it isn't like it's a position that has a salary or what have you, you know? But,
Yeah.
Madam Chair, if I may.
Yes, freeholder person.
Let me try to clear what I think. One is, and I can understand what you're saying, sometimes we get calls to serve on the board, so let's be very clear about that. If you're interested, you get a call from the administrator or the county executive asking you, I can't hold two meetings at one time. So what happens is that either the county executive or someone gives a person a call saying, are you interested in the position? There is a process, as you indicated, if you go online. Or you can even notify freeholders, let them know that you're interested in serving on any board, and if it becomes available, they could submit your name to the county executive. But as our former chairman's indicated, at the end of the day, it's a recommendation from the county executive down to the Board of Freeholders. And I tell you, you're not the first person that's asked that question. But again, some of us get here by anointments, and other ones get here by appointments. So we take our pick. It's like politics, as I say, either politics or policy. And so even though with the policy side of it, there is a website, as they indicated, that people can look at. But most of the time, they get a phone call, and they may know somebody in the administration, or members of the freeholder board may recommend somebody, and then it has to go up the chain. And I think that's probably the clearest way to look at it. I don't think anything sneaky was done. I just think that, like you said, last minute you heard about somebody resigning, the gentleman's being appointed. I applaud him to even want to serve on the Pine Lands Commission. But the fact of the matter is that I think that's just general information. But I don't want you to think it was something, as I would say, clandestine and esoteric going on, or even some closed door stuff. I think just that it was an opening, the gentleman applied, and the county executive thought that he was qualified to do the job.
And the vice chairwoman just made mention of, I think, a good point as well.
Yeah, most municipalities do it the same way.
Yeah.
You know, when you're involved in it. Believe me, there's not always people knocking at the door to get on boards because it's volunteers. So, you know, a lot of them are that way. We're usually out there looking for people to be on the boards, and the boards are also looking for people. So sometimes, you know, there's somebody that's been involved in, you know, the area for a while, and then you reach out to them. But a lot of times we're the ones looking. So please look at what's out there.
So are you interested in serving on the board? Because I don't think you just wasted your time to come here and ask that question.
I certainly may be interested. More generally, I think the public should have a right to at least know that the position is open for application.
And I think it's advertised on the web, but if you're interested in serving on any volunteer board, I think that at some point, either notify your freeholder or the county administrator or somebody to let them know that if an opening comes up, there's something you may be taking a look at. Not just you as general, but say you came to the meeting to raise that question. I think that's legit.
I understand. I would respectfully ask the board to table this vote for a time where the public can be more aware of the process. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public?
Good afternoon, Freeholders. My name's Ryan Greck. I'm with the Pinelands Preservation Alliance. So I appreciate the discussion and the information that was offered. I also had questions about just basically the process. No disrespect intended to Mr. Irick. So the position was posted this particular position was posted as open and available on the website. Is that what I'm
not, I mean, I think we just always have our boards and commissions always listed, and you can always submit if you're interested, and that's kind of always sitting on file. So when an opening comes up, that's when we look at what's there. That's how I understand it works. Yeah.
I mean, after the resignation was submitted, I mean, I was asked to go back into the file. I mean,
Yeah.
Hundreds of people have written in saying they want to sit on a board, and so we would go through, they're listed by, you know, senior citizen,
Right,
Pinelands Commission, whatever, so we would go through the names.
right.
Thank you. So with the Pinelands Preservation Alliance, we're a nonprofit that works to protect and preserve and enhance the Pinelands National Reserve. It's 1.1 million acres. We certainly understand that perhaps there are not folks knocking down the door to always serve, but we certainly, you know, live and breathe the Pinelands and find the, you know, the people who serve on the commission and their experience and what they bring to that board of utmost importance. So I would reiterate Jason's request to table this just until to have the public have the opportunity to potentially apply, potentially comment on the nominee. And then moving forward, I would request that there be a process established so that there's an open application where there is a vacancy to allow folks the opportunity to either nominate someone that they feel is qualified or apply themselves, and then have a selection and screening process that does allow opportunity for public scrutiny and public comment, because this person who represents Atlantic County on the Pinelands Commission really has an extremely important job in terms of upholding the comprehensive management plan and protecting the Pinelands. Thank you for the
Thank
opportunity.
you. Just to be clear, this is the public screening opportunity and process, so it's not like one doesn't exist. And you knew that because you found it and you came and spoke about it, so just to make mention of that.
Madam Chair, if I may?
Yes.
For this public portion, please.
Any other members of the public wish to comment? Seeing none, back to freeholder comment.
Madam Chair, I am going to support this nominee because it's a recommendation from the administration. However, I think these two people have raised a good issue, concern. Maybe going forward, we come up with a better process in terms of, I don't know, advertise, have word you want to use. I'm not going to block this gentleman's recommendation. But I think going forward, maybe we can collectively try to figure out something with the administration. I don't think it's fair that this gentleman would be considered being put on hold to be a public hearing when the result could probably still be the same if the administrator, the county executive, is going to nominate him anyway. So why am I going to hold up his nomination? So I'm going to support this resolution.
Yeah, I think it's a good suggestion, freeholder, and I also hope that the members of the public who ask the questions and maybe have some interest or have organizations that have people interested, submit your information. Let us know that you have, you know, names or people interested in serving in the future.
Or even if they want to meet with the administrator and the county executive to come up with some kind of criteria moving forward. But I think that we ought to move on this resolution.
Okay. Any other freeholder comments? Freeholder
Yeah, I
Davis?
just want to mention that the Pinelands Commission website does list the members, it lists the county appointees, it lists the gubernatorial appointees, and their expiration dates. I'm not sure that it's, you know, how often it's updated, but that information is online also on the Pinelands Commission website.
Well, I think it's fair to say this is to one, finish up an unexpired term and then go into a new one, so.
Correct.
But you can also see when they're coming up.
Right. Okay, any other freeholder comments? All right, hearing none, we'll have a roll call vote.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Horsey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Formica?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Gatto.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, and I think we have one more to go.
Yes.
Madam Clerk?
Appointment of Regina Bell as the Atlantic County Division Director for the County Library System effective April 1, 2019.
Okay. Oh, hello. Hello.
I thought it was Regina Bell the singer.
I wish I had her voice.
So can you please tell us about yourself and give us some background for our benefit and the public?
Okay, I'm Regina Bell. I've been a professional librarian for over 25 years. I've worked for Atlantic County for over 13 years. I'm currently the assistant director, and I've worked in different departments throughout the library system throughout my life, mostly reference services. The last 5 years in administration, and that is mostly human resources. I just came from an interview for a part-time library assistant. I don't know what else you would like me to.
Well, can I take a few minutes?
Sure.
So, you all know Ms. Elfrich, she's the library director, she was appointed. You
She's
got
not
it.
allowed to
Right,
leave,
right.
I'm sorry.
And
I
so-
love Regina.
and so she's retired. Gare, I had conversation with Gare about her long-term, plans. She had told me, partway through her appointment by the board and nomination by the executive, that, she had made plans to, go live near her family. And so, at that point in time, we began talking about who her replacement would be. I had conversations with the executive. We had talked to Regina. She was very interested. So I would say for the last 6, maybe 7, 8 months or so, she's been working along with Gail. So she's been heavily, and she's not saying this, I'll tell you. She's been heavily involved in some of the decisions that we've been making at the library. So she's been actively involved in this last 8 months in the future of where we plan to take the library. So she's worked right along with Garen, and I think it's been very productive.
Thanks, Judy. Okay. Freeholder questions, comments?
I'm gonna vote for it only because the name is Regina Bell. But, no, congratulations, you put that much time in it, and Jerry's vouching for you? You doing good.
That's 2 thumbs up.
Right, that's 2 today.
Freeholder Bennett.
So, thank you, Madam Chair. As the liaison to the Library Commission, I've got a chance to know, over the course of the last year, Regina very well. She's a wealth of knowledge and just an amazing resource for our constituents, the county as a whole. And so I'm glad that even though we're losing Gare, and I know she needs to retire and be with her family, that we get to have Regina as her replacement, and I think she's going to do an amazing job.
Thank you, Freeholder. Any other Freeholder comments? Okay, seeing none. Any comments from the public? Seeing none. All right, I think we need to hear about Resolution 147.
Appointment of Regina Bell as the Atlantic County Division Director for the County Library System effective April 1, 2019.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other additional comments? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Coursey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Ramika,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Gatto.
Yes. Congratulations. Okay, moving on to bond ordinances. Numbers 1 and 2 are going to be first readings.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
I don't want to go out of order, but for those who have either been appointed or reappointed, they don't stay for the meeting. I don't think it'd be rude if they wanted to leave at this time.
Thank you for making mention of that, sir.
And Madam Chair.
I wanted to indulge the board for a minute.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, we have not had a change in our transportation unit in a number of years. And Carl he has decided to retire. And we, as you know, our process normally is we hire from within. The young lady who was next in line, after we met with her, sat down and had a long conversation, she's not prepared at the present time to take the position. So we obviously went out and we advertised internally, externally. Internally, nobody applied. And there's a reason for that. You look at the requirements for the transportation coordinator, you have to have a number of years of experience within the transportation field. And not too many people have that. It's not readily accessible. I'll be very truthful about that. So we went to the outside. Obviously, we had applicants. We had roughly 8 applicants. We had an interview team. We narrowed it down to 3 people. They then got interviewed by the administration, and we made our selection. While you don't really, it's not an appointed position, it's not a division director level or above. The position is one of which has a lot of responsibility. I know the executive spends a lot of time talking to me about transportation, and he spends a lot of time talking to the people at transportation himself. So he asked me if I could get our selection down to be with you, and if you had questions. Mr. Demetrius Pearson here has a very large background in transportation. he was supposed to have started yesterday. We had conversation. I'd asked Demetrius to come down today, hoping that he was started yesterday. And it speaks to his character. He has 3 or 4 projects that he asked to complete. He didn't want to leave the staff there with these projects because it was basically on his plate. He needed to get them done. So we've extended his time. So I asked him to come down to meet with the board. And so he's here today. So if you have any questions, or if you'd like him just to kind of give you a quick background, you'll understand why he was selected. Yep.
It's not on our agenda,
Yes.
obviously.
Yeah.
Anybody have any objection to?
Oh, no, I want to hear him.
Mr.
First, the
Pearson?
only question I have right now,
Yeah.
come down from where?
Where he was working.
Where is that?
Oh, he's in Pennsylvania right now. He's in
Oh,
Philadelphia.
you kept
Yes.
saying come down. I'm trying to figure out where
I'm
you were.
Philadelphia. Philadelphia.
Oh, okay.
Is there any objection to learning about Mr.
No,
Pearson?
I think we should.
All right,
He came
Mr.
down.
Pearson, step on up to the hot podium there. Well, thank you for coming on down from Philadelphia.
My
Wish you
name
had a
is
train
Idris
to
Pearson.
take, but.
I have about 19 years of experience in transportation. I have a wealth of knowledge from logistics of transportation and documentation, logistics and freight, as well as paratransit. Paratransit became a passion for me once I had my parent became elderly and she became part of the paratransit. That's when I took notice to see I had a passion for it too, to make sure that they were being picked up and dropped off to and from appointments in a safe manner and timely. That's important. It's a great concern in transportation because I noticed that we're coming up on the baby boomer generation. That's the largest generation ever that existed thus far in American history. A lot of them haven't retired yet, so we're still to be gaining more and more of these people each and every day as their health begin to fail or different situations happen in their lives that's unfortunate. What I come to do is bring my information that I learned from 2 other states, which was Delaware and Pennsylvania, etc., and then come here and be a part of what you offer here in New Jersey. It's a great opportunity. I thank you for the opportunity, and I'll do my best while here. If there's any time that you have any questions for me, reach out to me by phone or email. I'll be more than welcome to answer your questions.
Was there anything particular about Atlantic County that made you want to leave your current position in Philadelphia?
Sure. Well, currently, this is a position that is ongoing, foreseen compared to where I'm at currently in Philadelphia. Philadelphia, unfortunately, is a contract position. So once that contract is up, you're no longer with the Philadelphia family. So versus here, this is a county. This is something that, it's a government entity. So I see that the need for someone with experience, and also is a continuation. There's no contract with this. So I said to myself, that is one state that I like to tackle anyway, would be New Jersey, because I know it's fine-tuned by New Jersey Transit, and I've dealt with a few people from New Jersey Transit, but I never got an opportunity to actually come on board with anyone in the state of New Jersey, so this is my opportunity.
Oh, I think we could give you a lot of opportunity there.
Okay.
Great.
Definitely. So, like I say, once again, if you have any questions for me, I'll do my best, and also I'll be relocating here to New Jersey to be a part of New Jersey as a family as a whole. So.
Wonderful. Well, we're looking forward to having you.
Thank you. I
In
appreciate
Atlantic
you.
County, hopefully.
Okay.
Any other questions from the Freeholder Board?
Madam Chair, if I may?
Yes.
I don't have a question for this gentleman now, but I will say this, I'll go on the record. For our administrator who came out of transportation, and he was a part of the selection committee, you did very well.
Okay.
Because that's a gentleman who knows the system. And I don't know how many freeholders call him regarding transportation, but I'm one. But it's an answer either yes or no, can't be done, and we'll work it out, da-da-da-da. The fact is that you come highly recommended by Jerry Dirasso. You certainly have my support, and we're glad to hear that you're gonna move to New Jersey, and we hope it's in Atlantic County.
Yes, it will be.
Great.
So, I wish you well.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. And
Any
thank
other
you all, too.
Freeholder questions or comments for Mr. Pearson?
I was just wondering, when you started?
Well, that would be the 18th of this month. This coming Monday.
Great, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. We don't have to take any formal actions, so You can
Welcome aboard.
Yeah, welcome.
stay, you can go, don't feel an obligation to stay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, am I allowed to do bond ordinances now? Okay.
Bond ordinance amending and supplementing bond ordinance number 6 of 2010, which provides for an appropriation of $5 million for improvement of the Atlantic Cape Community College by the construction of an addition to the Charles D. Worthington Atlantic City campus, heretofore finally adopted by the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Atlantic, State of New Jersey on December 7, 2010, to amend the description set forth therein, first reading.
Moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any freeholder comments on that one? Okay, this is first reading, so we won't have a public comment on that one yet. Can I have a roll call, please?
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Formica?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Gatto.
Yes. And number 2?
Bond ordinance providing for various 2019 capital improvements by and in the County of Atlantic, State of New Jersey, appropriating $11,867,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $11,673,000 bonds or notes to finance part of the cost thereof, first reading.
Moved.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Freeholder comments on that one? Hearing none. First reading again, our public hearing will be next meeting. We'll have a roll call vote.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Formica?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Gatto.
Yes. Okay, capital ordinance number 1.
Capital ordinance providing for information technology and general capital improvements to various county-owned facilities in and for the County of Atlantic, State of New Jersey, and appropriating $3,323,000 from the Capital Improvement Fund to pay for the cost thereof, final reading.
First reading. right?
First reading.
Moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Freeholder comments on our capital ordinance. All right, public comment will be at a future meeting, so roll call vote, please.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Formica?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Gatto.
Yes. Number 2.
An ordinance to amend the Atlantic County Water Quality Management Plan and future wastewater service area map to include a portion of Block 473, Lot 13, and Block 647, Lot 7, Gabriel Memorial Fields, and Tartaglio Park in Galloway Township, Atlantic County, New Jersey, into a sewer service area, final reading.
Moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Freeholder comments on ordinance number 2. All right, hearing none. Any comments from the public on that one? Okay, seeing none. Roll call vote, please.
Bennett?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Formica?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Gatto.
Yes. All right, on to resolutions. Number 61, we are allowed to adopt the budget.
Atlantic County Budget Notice 2019 adoption.
Moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any freeholder comments on that? Just a reminder to the public, we did have the public hearing on that. The state had not approved it yet or introduced their budget yet. That has now happened, so we're now allowed from a process perspective to accept the budget. All right, do I need to open it to the public on that one?
You can if you want.
Okay,
The requirement by law has already been accomplished. but
okay,
You can do so if you want. If you do so, you should do it by the vote of the board.
okay. Well, then let's just go ahead and have a roll call on the resolution.
Madam President,
Yes.
I think for the public, why don't we just give the dollar amount of this year's budget that we're not going to have public comment, because folks wasn't here the first time. At least they get an idea what the budget is. I think you went down 1.9 cent, Jerry?
1.9 cents
I
is the
think
tax.
that's important to be
tax.
noted.
Yes.
And I think that we need to say what the budget is, and that we're 1.9 cent less.
Yep,
And I think that that's good news. So I think that's the stuff you boast about.
absolutely. I think it absolutely is a proud accomplishment that we're going down 1.9 cents. Jerry, do you want to just offer a couple quick highlights
Sure,
of
you-
the budget.
There was the exec gave you the letter, I don't know if you wanted to.
Yeah, I don't have my
do
letter
that.
with
No,
me,
okay.
that's why I asked
I
you to do it.
I have the letter.
Jerry, we don't wanna go through the whole dissertation
Yeah,
of
just
his
the
letter,
highlights.
just the number.
That's fine, well, the budget is down 1.9 cents, I think the budget's roughly $217 million. The amount to be raised by taxation is only up 1.5%. Those are the key numbers. Our equalized value, you know, is roughly $31.2 billion. If you remember that, we were at $58.2 billion in 2008. We're down almost $27 billion in our value, but we're able to maintain the budget. We, as you know, because you sit on the budget committee and you sit on the budget committee, you understand we try to keep a very tight budget process, and so. We think we have a very good budget here. It gets everything done that we think we need to get done, and I think the department heads who spend a lot of time with the budget team. I notice Bonnie's here and Jeff is here, Diana's not here, but they spend a lot of time with the department heads and division directors on developing the budget. I think we're in good shape. Again, I don't know if you want to
I
go
think
through
that
some
was-
of these.
that's-
You're all right?
I think that was
Great.
Madam Chair, if I may, before we do the vote.
Freeholder force.
Even in spite of the last minute hit with the tax appeal with the Hard Rock, moving forward, I still think we're in good shape. Even though we were no longer #1 in foreclosures in the country, we're still up in that big number countywide. But I would be remiss, since we're talking about this budget, to point out that on behalf of Council President Judy Ward and the City of Pleasantville, as you probably read in the paper the other day, they're getting ready to do a revow. And so some of those, a lot of towns have done revals, and it's a little off the budget. A lot of people did a revow, did it at the height of the market. And therefore, we don't have that accurate number now. And so we certainly commend Pleasantville, your leadership and members of the council and the administration. And I think other towns will at some point do the same thing. And all this will play into the budget over the years to come, but Jerry, I think we'd be remiss. We give kudos to your staff, but it's always somebody that's driving that bus. And you have done an outstanding job keeping us all informed along the process with this budget, along with your team. And those kind of things can't go unnoted, because when you're down 1.9 cent, I tell you, there's a whole lot of other counties would love to be down 1.9 cent. And that goes to speak to your hard work. And I want to publicly thank you and your team.
Thanks, Freeholder force. Freeholder for Meeker.
I'd just like to say that over the last 7 years, with the downturn in this county, being #1 in foreclosures, of all the 3,000 plus counties in the country, there should have been a cumulative effect that would have been impacting this year's budget negatively. But because of the sound management of the administration and this freeholder board holding the feet to the fire, we always have enough reserve to cover the $75 million that had to be refunded in tax appeals before now. So I particularly didn't attend many budget meetings, but I know this freeholder board and the budget committee worked very hard with the administration to achieve the results we have today.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you brought that up. I mean, I don't think it should go unnoticed, the amount that has been absorbed following the tax appeals that we've endured here in the county. And you're absolutely right. It goes to sound administration and everybody kind of keeping everybody accountable as we move along. Echo Freeholder Corsi's, accolades to you, Jerry, and to the team. The team does such a great job, and we very much appreciate you so much. So thank you. And to the budget committee, I think we had some good conversations in our
Don't
budget
call for
committee.
no raise though, Jerry.
Okay, any other freeholder comments on the budget? Okay, seeing none, we will have that roll call vote.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Recuse.
Corsi,
We count the votes real quick.
You can't make a difference, forget it.
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Formica,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Gatto.
Yes.
If you would have recused, I would have came back.
All right, continuing on, resolutions 134.
Grant acceptance from the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs for the Universal Service Fund County Welfare Agency Administration Program, amount not to exceed $10,919.
Motion.
Okay, we have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any freeholder comments on that grant acceptance? Any public comments? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Formica,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Gatto.
Yes, 135.
Grant acceptance from the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs for the Low Income Heating and Energy Assistance Program, County Welfare Agency Administration Program, amount not to exceed $17,078.
Move.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any freeholder comments on that grant acceptance? Public comments. Seeing none, roll call vote.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Formica,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Gatto.
Yes, 136.
Amended professional services contract with Dixon Associates for design services for the Estelle Manor Park to extend the termination date and add additional design services. Net increase $32,160.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any freeholder comments on that one? Any comments from the public? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Formica,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Gatto.
Yes, 137.
Bid contract with U.S. Corrections Limited Liability Corporation to provide prisoner transportation services for the Atlantic County Sheriff's Office, amount not to exceed $25,000.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any freeholder comments? Any comments from the public? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Formica,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Gatto.
Yes, 138.
Bid contract with Command Company, Inc. for the construction of public access improvements along Motts Creek Road, County Route 657, at Public Dock Road in Galloway Township, amount not to exceed $533,229.70.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any freeholder comments on that one? Freeholder Formica.
Jerry, thank you, Madam. We have had a room full of people from Motts Creek come in here before.
Yeah.
What public access improvements are going to address any of their concerns?
Well, it doesn't deal with any of those because what they came in to complain about was the speed with which people come and go to the
Right.
restaurant. And the other issue that they have is the attitudes when they ask the people to slow down, you know, they yell at them and scream at them. The one thing we are doing is, the owner called the county the other day, had a long conversation with the county executive, telling us when she was going to reopen. Apparently it's closed now, they're renovating. We have agreed to put a variable message board out there. We did this during last year when, I guess they have a special weekend every year there during October. So we're gonna put a variable message board out there to see if we could help control some of the traffic coming and going.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other freeholder comments? Yes, freeholder Days.
Jerry, what exactly is being done? I know we talked about shoring up the bulkhead
Yeah.
at the end. We've had conversations in the past about public access, how we're going to control that. So I don't want it to turn into a situation where people are parking there to go into the bar and restaurant and, you know, they're trying to enjoy their public access. I don't want confrontations. But we've talked about that. Are they told to call the county sheriff, the local police, if there's an issue? How is that being addressed?
Well, we discussed some of that, I think, the other day at the Roads and Bridges. John and Mark are here. They can go through that. I just do want to tell you one issue, though. The one major concern about parking in that location, I mean, I can tell you that there was a long conversation again with the owner, and then he'd asked me to sit through the conversation. So at nighttime, I mean, let's be clear, there won't be anybody fishing, there won't be boats, docking up and everything like that. So, I mean, I think what we said to them, at nighttime, we don't have a problem. During the daytime, you have your own parking, whatever, but why don't they go explain what it actually is going to be happening there?
And I'm just before they do, they're really ramping up for this opening.
Yeah.
I've seen more advertisements
Yeah.
recently than I've seen and then I grew up
Right.
near there. You know, they expanded, you know, their menu, they're inviting families in now. So I'm just concerned that there's gonna be even more of a crowd, at least initially, to check it out. So I wanna make sure there's a balance.
Well, you guys wanna go through what's gonna be going on there, John?
Just briefly, what is going to be out there is a public park. It's a parking lot with, I want to say 48 parking spaces, with landscaping, and also a public access dock for fishing and crabbing. There will be a wall between the park and the business, so there won't be direct access. It's not like you're going to jump out of your car and pop up the steps and, like you can now, and grab a six-pack or go and have beverages. So during the day, it's a dawn to dusk operation in terms of the county's park facilities. So it will be available for that use during the day throughout the year. Obviously, this time of year or in the winter, you're not going to see a whole lot of access that way. There's a current access for a property that is literally across the creek that those folks have gotten from the state, and we have made opportunity for them. They have to be able to continue that access. It'll be a single parking space that is signed off that will be reserved for them. Beyond that, it's a pretty simple operation. Drive in. I don't know that we have trash pickup there or not. I don't know if it's going to be a carry and carry out facility. We may have trash facilities out there. We'll see as it. I just can't see that on the plans. Do you know?
Yeah, and note that there's no boat launching.
Right. There's no, and the dock, just for access, is strictly for fishing and crabbing. It's not the tie. There's no access to tie up at the dock or ladders to utilize that to access, again, the private property at Mott's Creek. It is strictly for public access for fishing and crabbing, and the opportunity to have access to the water. So that's the basic operation of the park as we see it. Construction should start in the near future here as we go to a pre-construction meeting, and hopefully by midsummer or so, people be able to start using that access to the water side there in Galloway Township.
Thank you.
Sure. Freeholder Corsi, 1 second. Did that answer your question?
It did. Again, I'm just concerned about, you know, the increased traffic and the request for speed bumps, but we'll.
I see the increased traffic that might happen with our friends at Mott's Creek.
Yeah.
They have their own separate parking area. This will actually make it less advantageous, as I said, for people to, they're not going to be able to pull into the park and jump in and go up the steps.
Right.
There's going to be basically a 4-foot wall between, or fence, I don't know, I want to use a wall. We talked about the cost of a fence or a wall before. So in any case, there will be a separation that people can't just pop into the Mott's Creek. So we get to that point where, you know, there needs to be enforcement discussion about that again. For the speeding, we'll put the variable message sign out there to hopefully help encourage folks to use a little more common sense when driving. We all know that there's families that live out there with kids, etc., people who live and walk along that street.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Madam Chair, if I may, I just have two real concerns. One is that you indicated somewhere in the summer with the construction.
That's correct.
Now, that's kind of tough that you're gonna be doing the construction in the middle of the summer or somewhere around, and that you have a business at the other end. So that's gonna be a problem, because the business people are gonna be complaining about all the necessary equipment out there in the way, et cetera, right? But then you indicated 40, I think you said 48 parking spaces? Give or take.
Yes.
Okay.
Plus or minus.
Listen, and we would hope that people abide by the rules and the regulations. We know that's not gonna happen. So if something real big is going on at Mott's Creek, then people gonna park in those spots. Now they tie up spots all day, but folks wanna crab and fish.
Mm-hmm.
What, because now it's the county's responsibility, what do we do?
We have a county ranger force that would be eligible to come and take care of those things.
So
Yeah. So we actually do have that that enforcement capacity from their perspective. There'll be a county park, just like any of the other county parks. And they-
Sign.
What's that?
Sign-
Oh, yeah,
sign
there'll be
and
signs there as
rules.
well.
We know it's gonna be something.
Yeah, so, well, that's what the Rangers are there for. And in fact, local police can write tickets on ordinances as well. And we have
I
seen
hear what you're
that,
saying.
we have
It's a
seen that
county
that hasn't
property.
been effective.
The local
Right.
cops is not gonna come on a county property and write no tickets. Let's not kid ourselves. Now, I think what we need to consider doing at some point in time is once we start the range, let them know that our law enforcement's in and out of it, they'll get the message that maybe the people in Marks Creek will say to their customers, don't park over there because you're liable to get towed or ticket, right? But you send the message early.
Yes.
I'm just concerned about construction taking place in the middle of the summer when these people open the restaurant. That's gonna be a headache, let alone the residents on that road.
Rainwater restrictions required.
They have their own parking area.
I understand, I'm familiar with Marks Creek. I've never been in there.
Why not?
You're running legal counsel out of the house. No. All right.
I'm sure
Any
Roger's still
other freeholder questions or comments? Yes.
I just make one
We don't have
suggestion,
any order restrictions.
John, I
Yes,
make
sir.
one suggestion that we put a phone number that somebody can call who needs assistance from the park rangers.
Absolutely.
That's all.
We'll have a regular park
put-
signage
just
out
put-
there, so
just
there'll
put a
be,
phone number to
that
call.
will be available on the signage.
That's
Okay,
all.
great. Thank you. Anything else on this one? All right, any comments from the public on this one? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Horsey.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Formika.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Gatto.
Yes, 139.
Bid contract with Levy Construction Company, Inc. to provide alterations to the Atlantic County Justice Facility Medical Dosing Unit, amount not to exceed $224,600.
Motion?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any freeholder comments on this one? Seeing none, comments from the public? Okay, roll call vote.
Bennett.
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Horsey.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Formika.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Gatto.
Yes, 140.
Bid contract with Ocean Construction Limited Liability Corporation to remove, supply, and install security fencing at Harbor Field's Youth Detention Center, amount not to exceed $179,099.55.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Hallelujah, it's finally here. Any freeholder comments on that one?
When this works though.
Okay. Any comments from the public? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Bennett.
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Horsey.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Formika.
Recuse.
Kern.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Gatto.
Yes, 141.
Change order number 1, contract with A.E. Stone, Inc. for roadway improvements to Washington Avenue, County Route 608, to extend term date to December 31, 2019. No additional cost.
Move.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any comments on this no-cost resolution? Any comments from the public? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Bennett.
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Horsey.
Yes.
Days.
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Formika.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Gatto.
By the way,
Yes.
that 17 change orders you voted for.
Yes. Actually, Jerry and I are laughing about Washington Avenue.
Okay, 142.
That was 18 change orders.
Emergency contract with South State, Inc. for emergency span lock repairs to the Dorset Avenue Bridge, V01, in the city of Ventnor, amount not to exceed $360,000.
Move.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any freeholder comments on the bridge that freeholder Risley loves, apparently?
It's always been a problem.
Freeholder Bertino?
The only thing, bridges and roads, we did discuss the issue with the bridge and what we're gonna do going forward since these span locks apparently are an issue all the time. So we have to do this, of course, so the bridge is in operation, but I know our Public Works and our guys are gonna look into redoing and updating and getting rid of these materials. The materials that they're using out there is simply not gonna hold up for the stress. So that's the best way of putting it, but we have to complete these repairs at this point. That was one of our questions, how many times are we gonna go back and fix it? First it's the one side of the bridge, then it's the other side of the bridge. And they have a plan going forward that's gonna probably get rid of it so we don't have to discuss it anymore.
Okay, thank you for that update. Any other freeholder comments? Comments from the public? Seeing none, roll call vote.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Formica.
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Gatto.
Yes. 143.
Alternate method contract with Unitronics Data Systems, Inc. to provide maintenance services for the abacus and administrative system for the Department of Family and Community Development, amount not to exceed $60,788.16.
Moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any freeholder comments? Any comments from the public? Roll call vote.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Formica.
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Gatto.
Yes. 144.
Shared services agreement with the Atlantic County Sheriff's Office, the County of Atlantic, and the Folsom Board of Education for security services within the Folsom School District, revenue generating.
Motion.
Motion. Second. Any freeholder comments on this one?
I do.
Is that freeholder
Madam Chair.
Corsi? Sure.
I thought I seen our director here. He left?
Oh,
Mr.
The director was
Fedorka?
here. He left?
Mr. Fedorka, yes, he left.
Are these class threes?
I believe these are class.
these are class 3s.
Because that's the only ones that can go into
Go
the
to
sheriff's
schools.
department, correct?
In schools.
Yes.
Okay. I'm good.
Okay. Any other freeholder comments? Comments from the public? Okay. Roll call vote.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Formica.
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Gatto.
Yes. And this is the second kind of smaller shared service agreement we're doing with the town. And I think that it's good that we're continuing to seek those opportunities with town. Of course, we have the Ventnor technology and phone piece that we're doing as well. Okay, 148.
Reappointment of Kevin Dixon to the Atlantic County Construction Board of Appeals for a term to expire on January 1, 2023.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any freeholder comments on that one? Comments from the public? Roll call vote.
Bennett,
Yes.
Bertino.
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Formica.
Yes.
Kern.
Yes.
Risley.
Yes.
And Gatto.
Yes. Okay, that concludes the written portion of our agenda. We will go ahead and move on to reports of special committees of the board. Do we have any reports? Vice Chairwoman.
Okay, Disability Advisory Board met actually today. It's a great group of people, and keep in mind, the majority of these people are in wheelchairs that are part of this board. For whether it was, an illness or an accident. But, so, some of the things they discussed, they talked about beach access, there's a real concern there. They are actually gonna split up some of the, accesses, to the different beaches on the island and see if there's any, need for improvement, and then they'll make recommendations moving forward on that. I have to say Atlantic City had a great site on their access, and Christine Chickadell, she's doing a fabulous job of putting together information for the website. Atlantic City actually has a map, which it shows the different streets that are handicap accessible, and she's trying to get all of that on the website. Right now, she has some phone numbers to beach patrols and things like that, if someone needs help that they can call, which is really important, because I saw a lot of that with the dune projects that went in and the new mats that went in. She is also, she's working with administration, with our planning department and legal department on updating the ADA self-evaluation and transition plan. It seems that has not been reviewed and updated for about 30 years, so that's something that they're looking to do. There are websites, right on our county website, there's some really, really good information about recreation and recreation accessibility for people with disabilities. The Mental Health Advisory Board met as well. And as I mentioned before, they usually bring speakers in, and they had the Atlantic Prevention Resources there, and their main focus at this meeting, they were talking about strengthening families programs. So there are some family programs. One's coming up at the Pleasantville Middle School, and they involve the family and the youth in the family from about 10 to 14 years old. They start with a dinner they give them, and then they go into, say, breakouts, parents in one, the children in another. They have activities, and then they come back together at the end. But a lot of this is also based around substance abuse, that's going on throughout the county. So it's a really good program.
Great updates. On the disability piece, we just were contacted by Councilman Sierra and Brigantine. They're gonna be working on actually increasing the number of handicap parking spaces as they're adding more handicap accessible mats in Brigantine as well. And some of it is county-owned roads, so they're looking to work with us to help make that possible. So I think it's great that we're making the accessibility to the beach for.
Yeah, they have concerns once they get down there, like
Yeah.
where they go, and now they,
Yeah.
motivate. And, in addition, the Ventnor Pier is being redone as well, and they're very excited for that, because it's things we don't think about, but they can get out onto this pier, look out on the water, watch, the surfers, so they're really excited about that. They're gonna have some type of, structure where they could actually sit under too.
Great. Thank you. Any other reports of special committees? Okay, seeing none, any unfinished business? Seeing none, any new business? Seeing none, any written communications or petitions? Seeing none, we will now open it up to public comments. Any members of the public wish to comment? Come on up.
Madam Chair and fellow board members, I am the Rutgers Extension representative from Atlantic County to the Board of Managers that oversees the Rutgers Extension Service. And I would certainly like to personally thank every one of the board members for your contribution to 4-H program, to Extension Service, Master Gardeners. When I go up to Trenton and I hear that Atlantic County is on top of the curve, makes me feel good, and I'd like to say thank you. Also, tomorrow night at our legislative dinner, we are honoring Senator Rob Andrews-Jack, who was chairman of the Ag Committee. So I invite all of you to come if you're able. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any other members of the public? Yes, sir. Come on up.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is George Amirians. I was here towards the end of last year and spent a few moments speaking about New Jersey Transit. And I felt that I wanted to follow up on that just for a few moments. I quickly found out that New Jersey Transit, which I pretty much knew in advance, was with very little interest in doing anything to correct any of the problems that we're facing here in Atlantic County. There's no interest at all, in my opinion. I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but that's the way that I feel. Since that time, of course, we also know that the train situation came to light in a far more serious manner than it had previously with the shutdown. And that's an issue that I'd like to begin to address in a serious manner. At the end of last meeting, I had an opportunity just for a quick moment to speak with new chairperson Gatto. And the bottom line is, in my opinion, New Jersey Transit has little to no interest in operating the train line. So I'm going to do my best to do them the favor of divesting themselves of that if I can. There's opportunity available. There are 2 entities and/or individuals that I have reached out to previously that I will reestablish relationships with that are interested in privatizing that line. It can be run with tremendous success. And I'll just spend a couple of minutes giving you a couple of examples of things that I believe that anybody that's living in Atlantic County that has any interest in that line whatsoever would have a clear understanding of. It's a sad state of affairs when in the year 2019 that it takes an hour and 20-some minutes on that train to get from Atlantic City to Philadelphia 30th Street Station. In 23 out of 24 hours a day, anybody can, other than that 1 or 2 hours of rush hour traffic up near the Walt Whitman Bridge, anybody can drive from Atlantic City to 30th Street Station in an hour and 15 minutes. Okay. That's just one issue. New Jersey Transit doesn't own that line. They lease it from Amtrak that owns the line. Okay, so they're only operators. and they have shown us that they have no interest or desire to operate that line. They're gonna reopen that line in the relative near future. They're gonna do us no favors by doing that. There are so many issues that need to be addressed on that line that I wouldn't even know where to begin. Whether it's a stop that's needed at Pomona, okay, whether it should not be a bed that can accommodate 2 tracks that only has 1 track, that causes the train each time, twice, each trip to stop, wait for another train to pass by in order to pick up again and move forward. It happens once just before Lindenwald. It happens at Pomona. They have no desire to even think about any kind of a connection to Atlantic City International Airport, one of the most underutilized international airports in the United States. Atlantic City needs a whole lot of assistance. And what is good for Atlantic City is good for the county. What's bad for Atlantic City becomes bad for the county. The mere fact that they have no interest and they shut down a line when we've got conventions to address, so many other things, I wouldn't even know where to begin. I mean, the list would go on, and we don't have the time to waste on that today. My district freeholder, Coursey, is familiar with my desire and interest in transportation. Going back how far when you were on MLK?
Long time.
Okay? And you know I met with you and others then, so this isn't something that just comes to the table today. But it needs to be addressed today. Okay, now I feel that the best way to begin to address it is with something that we're so fortunate to have apparently, and I just came to understand that today at this meeting, that Mr. Del Rossi has tremendous experience in transportation. So I think that that might be a good place if I could begin with an informal meeting with him and share some ideas and thoughts that I have. We could get some input both ways to see what can be done. But when it comes to transportation, any modern, highly industrialized society depends upon transportation and communications. We cannot communicate with New Jersey Transit because they have no desire to communicate with us. And if we don't have transportation that we need, you will never see Atlantic City grow and prosper to the degree and level that it can. Okay, so that's where I would like to begin, because if it is done properly, trust me, development will follow. Okay? And one other thing that's so critical is the connection of Atlantic City International Airport to Atlantic City. This has been on the radar screen for who knows how long. The fact that South Jersey Transportation Authority controls and or owns perhaps the entire right-of-way to the Atlantic City Expressway from Earhart or whatever it is Drive, okay, and cannot connect one of the largest international airports that did accommodate the space shuttle, the Concorde, the 187th Squadron that protects everything from Boston to Virginia. And we can't connect an international airport to an expressway 1 mile away? How abysmal is that? All right, so I've said more than enough. I have a lot of ideas. I'd like to see if I can put them into action. And I think a good place to start might be, if I may, I'll reach out to Mr. Del Rossi. At his convenience, we get together. I live in Atlantic City. It's not going to be difficult. It's not something that has to be done tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
We appreciate your passion. I think we all share your passion and and desire to, see that growth. I know our Atlantic County Economic Alliance is certainly working on that airport connection piece, and we've certainly heard from some folks at this board with regard to the Pomona station. I know I see Michelle Post in the audience has tried to bring to light the report that was previously done that made recommendations to increase ridership. And I know not only our assemblyman, but Senator Brown have all been working diligently to get more representation on the board of directors for New Jersey Transit. So I think everybody is working to try to do something, and we appreciate that you also want to do something too. So I think it's good if we can hear out your ideas and certainly, continue to try to put things into action. So
And if
thank
I
you.
may, based upon what you just said, the something that everybody is doing is gonna continue to be a waste of time dealing with a state agency that has zero interest and or desire to do anything
Right.
to help us here. So it's gonna have to be done in another way, and I'll make it a point to do it that way.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Freeholder Fitzpatrick, do you want to?
No, just what you said
Okay.
about the representation on the board. Senator Brown knows that we want more representation. The governor's expanding the board to 13 members. I think there might be one member right now from our area.
Yeah.
That's not enough, and our public transportation in Atlantic County is bleak.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, thank you. Any other members of the public wish to speak? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public portion. Let's go to good of the order.
Madam Chair, if I may,
Freeholder
as you
Force.
most know, that terrible tragedy in airplane Ethiopia. One local South Jersey resident from Sea Isle City. I think the gentleman is Mark, and I think he's 41 years old. And we certainly want to give our condolences and prayers to the family, and that we have moments of silence.
Absolutely. Let's bow our heads. Thank you, sir. Any other good of the order comments? Freeholder Fitzpatrick?
Black History Month at Leeds Avenue School. We were there.
We were. It was amazing.
It was the best Black History Month presentation I ever saw. The kids were great. Pre-K
So
to
much energy.
Bigger kids and even teachers and administrators. It was fantastic.
I thought the parent involvement too was amazing. Probably one of the most I've ever seen turn out, so I thought it was really great. Thanks for bringing that up. I just have a couple of items for good of the order here. On Friday, I had the opportunity to attend the K-9 graduation from our Atlantic County Police Training Academy, and let me just tell you what an emotional and humbling and honored experience it was to be there. If you haven't read it in the paper already, not only did we graduate dozens of new K-9s to be deployed across South Jersey and their handlers who have gone through extensive training, but Atlantic County is now the first county to train the first ever K-9 dog that is specifically for preventing school shootings and mass shootings. They came up with a specialized training. Joe Nick, who leads that academy, came up with a specialized training, and we trained one dog, K-9 Meadow, who was named after a young lady who was killed at Parkland. And this specialized training, the dog is trained to specifically sniff out only guns and ammunition, and to only react to things that sound like gunfire. And the father of the young lady who was killed was there and gave a very emotional speech, but he has it made it his mission to not let another child die in a school shooting. And so he pointed out the 7 points of failure in that shooting, that had there been a dog at various points, the shooter could have been stopped at so many different spots and potentially avoided the murder of his daughter, who was on the 3rd floor. It was, I've always been told not to cry as a politician, but it was extremely emotional. I am very proud that we at Atlantic County and our training facility, we have the leadership, we have people with the passion, and we have people with the expertise and not only their own expertise, but went out and saw and did research to create this program. I mean, it's truly amazing. And so, as I left, I told Mr. Fedorko that now this dog is going to Cumberland County Tech School. I told him we absolutely need not only one in Atlantic County, but let's start with one, but let's get one in every school. Because it's such an easy thing we can do that just adds that extra layer of protection for our students. So it was quite an amazing time. I have spoken with Joe Nick about how we could start and what we could do. So I will be pursuing that, and it just, if you have time, please read about it, watch some videos about it. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible what they did. So I wanted to highlight that. On a less ominous point, it is now Women's History Month, and I think you'll see a resolution coming on that at a subsequent meeting. But I'm very proud and excited, and want to thank Sonia for helping, and also ACCC for becoming a partner, as well as the Women's Advisory Commission. We will be having our first Chairwoman's Luncheon, which will seek to honor and to highlight young female students in our county. So we have invited students from every single high school. Obviously our 4 ladies are invited. Sorry men, you're not. And our advisory council women are also invited, so that these young ladies not only have the opportunity to meet and network, but they can hear about just some of these awesome movers and shakers we have here in Atlantic County, and do what we can to support these young leaders on their journey. So there's no budget for this. I'll be paying for whatever it is out of my own pocket. If anybody would like to pay for a student, you can go on Eventbrite through ACCC. They are taking sponsorships for the students. But very excited to be doing that first Chairwoman's Luncheon at the end of March. And just a final note, yeah, we did. Vice Chair and I went to St. Augustine for International Women's Day and spoke to about 100 young men on International Women's Day.
Interesting. Women's Day for 100 young men.
We did. And
It is.
it absolutely is. And they were very interested in understanding how they could be supportive to women, and you know, help women advance their own missions and goals. And they were interested in how to, you know, get involved in elected office and the statistics related to our county. So I think it was
What
very.
a freeholder is.
And what a freeholder is, yes. We told them to go home and test their parents afterward. So. And then just the final thing, Freeholder Risley and I had the opportunity to attend a luncheon recently that was for the National Association of Negro Business and Professional Women's Club Incorporated, who highlighted other wonderful, successful, passionate women in our county who are blazing their own trails. And one of our own received the Community Service Award, and that is our clerk, Sonia Harris. And I was very happy to see Sonia getting honored. She does so much that people have no idea that she does. In fact, I think several of her friends learned a little something about her at the table with regard to her styling service, so good to know. But Sonia, you do not only so much for us, but for the community, and we appreciate you, and I'm glad to see others appreciate you as well. And your aunt was also recognized for her work. So it was quite a family affair, but it was a really, really fun luncheon. And again, we congratulate you, Sonia.
Thank you.
All right, that's all my good of the order. Anything? Oh, Freeholder Risley.
I had 2 items. First of all, I want to commend you on a meeting that took place, an important meeting, with the Mahogany Corporation in Hamilton Township. And one of the, functions that we do as freeholders we try to ensure that businesses stay here in our county and expand. Myself and the chair attended a meeting with the owner of the company, and they make many different products that have to do with boats and yachts and that sort of thing inside the boat. And of course, many of their customers are Florida, North Carolina. So we want to be sure that they stay here and expand. So we had a meeting, and Lauren Moore was there. We brought out the big guns, Lauren Moore, and
John Lamy.
And John Lamy as well, from Improvement Authority, to have that conversation. I think it was very, very productive. We had a great tour of the plant, and these are the things that are really, really important in county government. And I commend the chair for setting that up. It was a good meeting, and I felt very good by what Lauren Moore had to say to Mahogany Corporation. He really is a great professional that we have with us. On another note too, we just received a copy of the Atlantic Cape Community College report. You know, our county has done a lot for this college over the years, and we have to promote this college at every chance we get, and keep talking it up, because this is truly a way for our students to go to school, you know, in comparison to other colleges on the cheap. It's still expensive, you know. My son goes there, so I'm a little biased, you know, but, you know, when you look at the cost of some of these other schools, it's by far and away the best bang for the buck. So I say this to try to encourage our, you know, our residents here in South Jersey, and maybe the press will give us a little boost as well about our college. We're so proud of it, and you know, we've fallen on some tough times there with declining enrollment the last few years. They've had to reduce staff. Of course, that also means reducing options. That means reducing availability of classes. So we need to promote our community college to the fullest extent. Thank
And
you.
that's exactly why we're having the luncheon there, so that we can also give the ladies exposure to what we have to offer from an educational standpoint. And just to your point on Mahogany, not to overlook the municipality, I had pointed Mahogany to the municipality, you know, to work with them, and we're just trying to be an additional support to what they're talking about with the municipality. And I think that's critical for towns to know, is that we have these resources, we can be a partner for what towns are trying to do. They don't have to do it alone. We're here to be that partner. So thanks for bringing those two items up. And Freeholder Jace.
Just quickly, I know there's been a lot of talk, there's an article about the potential of the Port Authority taking over the airport here. I just want to make sure that stays on our radar. There may be some incredible advantages to that. Just want to make sure that it doesn't interfere with the county's economic development around the airport and at the technology park. So I just think there may be a great opportunity there, but I want to make sure that, you know, the county is involved in any decision that may be made. I know that it's a no legislative action would be necessary for that. And I know Executive Levinson is fully aware of what's happening, he's commented, quoted as such. But if we need to do anything, we want to make sure that hopefully we all stay as informed as we possibly can about any potential negative impact that may have on our economic development there. And lastly, Jerry, I wonder if you could pass this along. I heard from Herb Davis of the Veterans Advisory Board that I guess some of the veterans had some concerns about the road, I think, around the cemetery. There's some potholes, but he wanted to pass along his thanks that it was addressed, and I guess it's a smooth ride around the Veterans Cemetery again. So thank you for the quick action, as usual.
I know a lot of people are complaining about potholes across the county, and I would just remind everybody to be patient as we're coming out of the cold and wet time period. Now is the time when Public Works will be out there filling and addressing those things. It just takes a little bit of time, so we know 'tis the season to fill the potholes. So thanks for bringing that up. Anything else? Do we have a motion to adjourn? We do. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Any opposed? Good night.